We got one more episode after this one right here. Episode 9, Care the Hustle, Bel-Air. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by CritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. If you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I try to tell y'all, man, this thing just keeps going up and going up and going up. Last week, episode 8 was a doozy, but now, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, it is starting to get absolutely realer than it ever has. And I kind of expected this. I predicted some things. And this episode definitely annies it up. And listen, I don't want to talk about it anymore because I've already seen the wrap up on this, guys. And I don't want to get into that. But what we're going to focus on is episode 9. Because episode 9 is just as a thrill ride as how the season wraps up. But I will tell you what to expect in good fashion. No spoilers whatsoever. We don't do that here. What we do is we give you an expectation on things to expect so that you can be prepared to go into episodes week to week. So without further ado, let's talk about Bel-Air episode 9, Care the Hustle, which... the more that I think about the title of the episode, I don't really see a correlation of why they call that episode that. I'm still trying to think in my head. I don't see the connection. Maybe one of you guys can see it and break it down for me, but I was trying to, I watched it more than once and I was trying to go back and figure it out, but in my head I couldn't quite put my finger on why they would call that episode Care the Hustle. But without further ado, the episode opens up with a solid interaction with two characters who we love. I'll try my best not to spoil things because, like I said, I don't like to spoil things. I just want to kind of give you guys a gist of the tone of this episode. There are a lot of interactions between a lot of characters who we've been wanting to have those interactions between. For instance, I'll give you one. So we get a little bit of we get a little bit of Will and Jeffrey. We get a little bit of Jeffrey and Phil. We get a little bit of Ashley, baby Ashley. We get a little bit of Ashley and Mom, and we get a Viv. And we get a lot of Carlton Will. I'll tell you that much. And that's part of the good stuff that's going on in this episode. The episode starts off very family oriented. We're still getting that family dynamic that we love and that I loved in episode 8. I thought that was the best thing about episode 8 was the fact that it was like a unit, a family thing going on. So in this one, we get some of that. We get a lot of that, actually. There's a lot of that going on in this episode. Ashley, baby Ashley, speaking of, she's starting to become like the smartest person in the room. I know we make jokes all the time that we don't really see much of her, but in this episode, you kind of want to step back and just kind of watch her and say, is that what she's been doing this whole time? Really just kind of, assessing her situation and which she lives in. But yeah, she to me was kind of shining as like the smartest person in the room without saying too much, but then with saying too much. So I thought that was kind of cool that they're finally allowing this character to kind of, get some lines and kind of like, stick it to the family. And she kind of reminds me of a Jeffrey character where like she has so much potential because she literally feels like the smartest person in the room when she opens her mouth. So I kind of like that. We see some things with Phil's political run. The politics are starting to get a little dirty in this thing, and we'll see how that unfolds and how that may or may not affect people in the long run. But Phil is focused on that, of course. But there's some things with Phil that I really, really, really enjoy. But you know what? I don't want to jump too close. I don't want to jump to that yet. What I do want to talk about is Hillary. I want to talk about Hillary and Jazz, because Hillary and Jazz have been having this awkward dynamic that a lot of us are not so comfortable with, because of what we know from the past, or the original Jazz and Hillary. I said Jazz, right? Hillary and Jazz. But I gotta tell you, I love it. I am kind of digging that a lot, and I want to see a lot more of it. Yeah, I'm gay. I'm cool with it. I know that we know that in the original Fresh Prince, Hillary and Jazz, they don't normally, mesh. Hillary don't even really rock with him like that. But listen, I'm here for it. And I think all of you are going to be here for it, because it's kind of the break that Hillary needs, that character. She goes through some things, and nothing too serious, but like in her world, she's going through things. And I think that the Jazz character kind of grounds her in a way that her character is needed. Other than that, she'd just be, this like hollow character of an influencer that I wouldn't be feeling. But I really like the dynamic with her in Jazz, and I hope you guys do too, because especially after this episode, I'm sold. I'm all in. There's a couple of cameos in this episode. Some really, really cool cameos. I saw this a little bit floating around the internet, so it wasn't a big surprise to me, but it was an awesome nod. I thought it was a cool cameo that they should have done, and I would have picked a certain other person, and you people will know what I'm talking about when you see it. I would have went the other way, or maybe three ways. But I get what they were trying to do, but I really would have went, I would have maybe, I just would have did it a little bit differently. Same, but a little bit, excuse me, a little bit differently by adding a certain individual. I mentioned this to you guys, I don't remember which one, maybe 7 or 8. I said that I feel that there's going to be an implosion within the Banks home. Something is going to erupt, and damn it, I was right. That's all I'm going to say about that. I knew that something was going to boil over, and sure enough, we get a gist of that. And I'm not, like I said, guys, in good fashion, I'm not going to tell you what the details are, but just know that eruption that I've been talking about, it's on the cusp. It's on the cusp. It damn near happens, and you guys are gonna see what happens. Phil, man, Phil. Although Phil gets the verbal ass whipping that he has had coming to him since the beginning of this whole thing, trust me, he's had it coming. I know a lot of y'all feel it. Phil's a cool dude, but he's had a verbal ass whipping coming his way since the beginning of all of this. Even though he's gotten that, he manages to surprise us. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like I still can't gauge what they want, who they want Phil to be. I really can't tell. Like I can't tell if he's this selfish, ambitious shark of a man, a go-getter, or is he a softy? Because I haven't seen a perfect balance yet. I know a lot of you will probably think that there's a balance there, that he's both. But to me personally, I haven't seen the perfect balance of who Phil is supposed to be in this series. I know who they want him to be, and I know who I want him to be. But I feel like one minute we get darker side, and then all of a sudden we get the lighter side, and that's exactly what happens in this episode. Like, one minute you're like, oh man, yo, Phil, what the fuck? And then the next you're like, that's the Phil I love. Like, it's really strange that transition, the way it happens. And I really hope they clean it up. in season 2 or whatever. But for me, I couldn't get a clear cut gauge on who Uncle Phil is supposed to be in this season. But I mean, I think he does well. Overall, guys, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of what's going on in this episode. It's go time, and there's going to be some serious consequences in this episode. So look forward to that, because things are going to change. Things are going to change, and there's some great moments between Will and Carlton that I didn't expect, or I didn't know I wanted so badly, I should say. That's what I'm gonna say. There's some great moments between Will and Carlton that I didn't know that I wanted. I didn't know that, but it makes great for the story between those two. It makes great for the story within the family. And like I said, the takeaways from this is you're gonna get a little bit more Ashley, more the amount that we need more, but it's a good amount that's been needed. You're gonna get a crazy turn of events in this episode. By the end of it all, twice actually. It is like 2 great turn of events in this episode that I didn't even think about. But one of them is gonna hit y'all harder than the other. I believe. I think so, and you'll know what I'm talking about when it happens. But overall, guys, I'm excited. I've already seen this, and I'm still excited. I want to know what y'all think about this. I love when you guys comment and drop your thoughts and what you're feeling about the season. So feel free, please, guys. Come back, like, comment, share, make sure you subscribe, and let me know what you guys are feeling about episode 9, Can't Knock the Hustle of Bel-Air, because we only got one more left, guys. One more left. And also, don't forget, tomorrow night, Thursday night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time is when I do my live spoiler discussion for episode 9. Me and my guys, we get together and we break it down. We talk about everything that happens in the series and the show up to date, and then we're gonna leave a little cliffhanger and get ready for episode 10, the finale, because I'm telling y'all may not be ready for what's going to happen in the last episode. I am telling you right now, the internet will be talking. So without saying too much, guys, like, comment, share, make sure you subscribe for more movie news, television news, and pop culture. Check out wearecritics.com, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.